touch my heart like you do. I could search for all eternity, Lord, and find there is none like you.
Miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. That is who you are. Hey, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. That is who you are. Yes, indeed, Lord, you are. You are here, moving in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, turning lives around. Yes, I worship you. We worship you. Come on and sing, Waymaker, Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. That is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. That is who you are. Yes, indeed. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper. We are connected with the way-making presence of God. We are connected with the promise-keeping presence of God. We are connected with the power presence of God that has made this day possible. Your presence surrounds us, and we are one with your presence, knowing that as we gather and worship online, we are this day eternally filled with your power. We are filled with your way-making spirit that sees possibilities and makes possibilities happen. Our lives are renewed, our minds are transformed, our bodies are receptive to the healing that is taking place. And we are never the same again because we have become gods and goddesses of life, celebrating the good that we are. I give thanks, knowing that this service is good and it is glorifying the gods of our souls this day and forevermore. And so it is. Yes, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Hey, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper.
promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Yes, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. God bless you.
Today, if you're excited to be here, let me hear you give yourselves a round of applause. A round of applause for each of you here. Thank you. You're all looking very beautiful and handsome. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Planetary Liberation Day 2023. I see it as an absolute honor to be here today as your MC for this august occasion where we're gathering at banner or building the family character, the roadmap to peace. Well, we're here on a journey today to reflect and to explore while embracing the wisdom that a family is not just a place where peace begins, but it's the guiding star on our path to global harmony. And as we convene here today, we need to recognize, all of us, that we each hold a piece of the puzzle to a more peaceful world. Okay, we need to recognize that. Now, it's my hope that our conversations and discussions today will shed light on the ways in which the home can be a beacon of love, empathy, and respect, and how all these qualities can resonate far beyond our households and shape a future that is filled with understanding and compassion. Okay? So let me implore all of us, let's open up our hearts and our minds, and let's welcome and embrace the wisdom we're here to gain today from our panelists and from everybody really. And together, let's chart a course towards a more peaceful planet. We can do that, right? We can do that, right? Yes. Great. So my name is Regina Bolebote. I'm the MC for today. Once again, welcome to Planetary Liberation Day 2023. And we just set the ball rolling by inviting Sister Philippa Hammond to give us an opening prayer. Please clap for Afrikaans. God bless you. Let's have the song, Great is Thy Faithfulness, to robe us into prayer. Great, great is Thy faithfulness, oh
I will prompt you. You can faithful God that encompasses the whole universe. All of our creation experiences your faithfulness and manifests your glory. This very moment, we are experiencing your faithfulness through the air that breathes us, giving us life. Yes, it is your faithfulness that we are having life this moment. Yes, we are experiencing your faithfulness through the fire, the sun that shines on us, transforming our cells, tissues, and organs. So we are healthy. Yes, it is by your faithfulness. Yes, by your faithfulness, we experience it through the waters that restores and nourishes our cells, tissues, and organs. That we are whole and complete. Yes, it's by your faithfulness. Yes, by your faithfulness, we experience it through the earth that spins on its axis. Yes, all of us and all creations together bonding us in love, giving us day and night. Yes, it is by your faithfulness. Yes, we stand in this faith. And we say, yes, oh great, unchanging, dependable God. It's you that you have made this day possible. You have set this day aside so that we step into our greatness for the realization of world peace. Yes, in this awareness, we pronounce that yes, your greatness and your faithfulness is manifesting through the speakers. Each speaker for this very moment is manifesting through him or her. And your words are manifesting. Every word that comes out of their mouth is your words that is here to make us great for the realization of world peace. And by every word that comes out of them is making our families and establish our families as peaceful families. In and through our families, yes, world peace is happening. World peace is coming to full realization. Our families are now solution centers. Our families are a place where there is open communication, love, value. We place value on every person, and there is self-esteem. Oh God, we see this. We see this happening. Our families have become the very channels through which life, world peace is happening. And it's glorious and it's marvelous in our sight. We accept this happening. We are grateful and thankful unto you. We accept this happening, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you very much, Sister Philippa Hammond. Can we show her some love, please? Let's do so. Okay, so like I said earlier, we're here to do a lot of things. We're here to learn, we're here to share experiences, and we're here to grow. Most importantly, we're here to hear from experienced personalities. We have in our midst some special guests and speakers, and at this point, I'd like to introduce them so they can come here and so that you can all see them. And at the right time, we'll hear from our special guests and our speakers. So my first speaker is a lawyer who has been a banker with over 15 years experience in the Ghanaian financial sector. He has worked with different financial institutions in various capacities, including the management of the legal department. Now, he currently practices law at Huntsman Legal Consult. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the stage Ni Ashi Kote. With a round of applause. Thank you very much. The next speaker holds a first degree in psychology and MPhil in guidance and counseling from the Methodist University, Ghana. She also runs a counseling consultancy, the Center for Life Balance, and is the in-house counselor for the St. Benedict Sibiru School. That's a private Catholic basic school in Dansuman, where she runs reprogramming models to reorient children into self-awareness and their greatness. She's also an entrepreneur and has founded an event organizing firm, Celebration Spark, that hosts events in the city of Accra. Now, she works as a court-connected mediator at the Wager Circuit and District Court and is a minister of God with Ethereum Mission International, the Center for Spiritual Empowerment and Life Mastery, where she runs marriage counseling sessions for couples. She is a major facilitator for the youth campus. Well, let me just let the cat out of the bag. Our next speaker is Mrs. Josephine Kafui Tete. Round of applause for her, please. Okay, so I'm actually particularly interested in this speaker, and you know why after I've given you his bio. So this next speaker was named an Area 70 and a member of the third quorum of the 70 of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints at the April 2021 General Conference. He received a Bachelor of Business Administration degree in marketing from the Central University, and of course a Master of Science Development degree in finance from the University of Ghana. Now, since 2005, he has worked for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in several positions, including Treasury Analyst, MLU Analyst, and Planning Analyst. Now, he currently works as a temple recorder, and he has served in a number of church callings, including full-time missionary in the Ghana Accra Mission, ward clerk, counselor and bishop, stake young men president, the bishop, high counselor and stake president. Now, this speaker was born in Sekindi, Ghana on June 22, 1975. And he's married to Getwi Theodora Affle in 2006. They are parents of 4 children. Ladies and gentlemen, with a rousing round of applause, help me welcome Elder Samuel Annan Simons. Finally, but definitely not the least, this next speaker is a spiritual master who has dedicated 35 years to spreading a message of world peace. So there couldn't have been any person more befitting to be on the stage on the occasion of Planetary Liberation Day. You agree with me, right? Great. So he founded the Ethereum Mission Ghana, a metaphysical organization focused on self-awareness and the study of the natural sciences. His magnetic presence has graced diverse international platforms, including the new kind of audience will I be meeting? It's a day talking about peace, planetary liberation. Will I be meeting peaceful participants? So I was worried a bit. But you see, I came in here and I'm happy that my audience is peaceful. Do you know why I know? Anybody has an idea why I know you people are peaceful? Oh, you don't know. Mother Teresa did say that peace begins with a smile. And I've seen so many smiling faces since I entered, and I'm still seeing smiling faces. If you're not smiling, please smile for me. You're peaceful. Smiling faces here and there. Yes, so I am very sure that I have a peaceful audience, and you've been good so far. But who knows why we're here? All of you have dressed beautifully, left your home, and come to Ethereum Mission. Anybody, show by hands if you know why we're here today. Nobody knows. Hey, what is happening? Show by hands. That's quite a number. And I'm tempted to ask you questions, but I'm going to reserve that for later. For now, though, let's welcome Sister Abigail SL to give us the purpose of our gathering. Please show her some love as she comes.
Thank you. So I'm here to convey the purpose of gathering for us to appreciate why PLD. So 22 years ago, the United States witnessed an event that would forever shape its history. On September 11, 2001, 19 men hijacked 4 commercial airplanes, launching coordinated attacks on American soil, leaving behind a trail of devastation. The aftermath left a nation and the world in shock, igniting a desire for justice and retaliation. Amidst this turmoil, Brother Ishmael Tete, Director of Conscious Humanity, was in the United States teaching programs for world peace, fueled by his unwavering passion to achieve world peace within our lifetime. In a cosmic twist, as he taught nature's principles and practices for empowered living, he was surrounded by vibrations of war, fear, rage, and hatred. As his birthday approached on September 19, he faced a dilemma. How could he celebrate amid such strife? This moment inspired him to elevate the pursuit of peace. He instructed his ministry in Ghana, the Ethereum Mission, to commemorate this day as the Planetary Liberation Day, while he and select American friends observed it. Planetary Liberation Day has since evolved into a global observance, focusing on confronting humanity's profound challenges, fostering inner personal peace and global harmony. Celebrated annually on the third Saturday of September, Planetary Liberation Day has tackled vital social political issues, including birthing world peace from within, fostering interreligious and interpolitical harmony, cultivating the empowered child, promoting essential life education, among many others. Today, the focus is on building a family character, a roadmap to world peace. Peace is defined as the activation of our innate potentials. Failure to unlock our potential breeds disconnection and inner turmoil, leading to external chaos and conflicts. The path rests on 3 pillars: a global vision for world peace, uniting us toward its realization. Secondly, building character for world peace, which is nurturing peace-loving individuals. And thirdly, schooling the senses for world peace, teaching our senses to see abundance and unity within diversity. For a deeper exploration on these pillars, we are all urged to get a copy of Brother Ishmael Tete's Peace Manual book, which was launched in 2017. The promise of world peace within our lifetime begins with each of us. Embrace the purpose of Planetary Liberation Day and join this journey towards a more harmonious world. Enjoy the program. Thank you.
We can do better, please. Let's show her more love, please. Abigail Esau with that excellent delivery of why we're here today. I feel like giving out more applauses to you people because you've been great so far. But I don't want to give it free of charge, you see. So I want to ask some questions. Yeah. Who is confident that they can answer the question I'm coming to ask? You can just raise your hand. I mean, show yourself, show your skills. Anybody who's confident, I'll give you a round of applause. Everybody will clap for you, and I'll even give you a gift. I have a gift. I came bearing gifts. So who wants a gift? Who wants a round of applause? Nobody? Can I call names? I see Brother Lord. Yeah, you're looking at me. Don't you want an applause? You don't want? Hey, okay. But I'm still going to ask the questions anyway. They're easy questions, really. Don't think too much. They're about the things that Sister Abigail said. So you can answer, and I'll give you a book, and everybody will clap for you. Is that a good deal? Is that a good deal? I'm not feeling the energy. Is that a good deal? So I'm going to go around, and if I come, those who are not smiling, I'll come to you. So if you don't want me to come to you, please smile. Oh, you're not smiling. So I'm coming to you. Let me go easy on her. When was the Planetary Liberation Day launched?
It was launched in the United States. I've forgotten the date.
Hey, Asemo.
3 years ago.
23 years ago.
That was what I heard.
Do you remember the year? If you remember the circumstances, why was it launched? Do you know why it was launched?
It was launched because of the 9/11.
So which year was that?
2001.
Thank you, 2001. A round of applause for her. Great. So your book is up there. I'll give it to you once we are done. Clap for her. Who else wants me to come to them? She wasn't smiling. If you don't want a question, please smile. Oh. They are not smiling. Okay. I'm here because her smile is so beautiful. I can't ignore it. So I'm here. It's a simple question. Don't worry. When was the peace manual launched?
When was the peace?
The peace manual. When did we launch it? Which year did we launch it?
I can't remember.
Please give her a round of applause. She's very honest. She can't remember, and she told us she can't remember. Okay. Let me go to Sister Letitia. Hello. I love your smile. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to answer that question I asked. When was the peace manual launched? Which year?
2017.
Exactly. Round of applause for her, please. Awesome. Great. So you win this special book from Brother Ishmael Tete. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you. I have one more person, one more question up in here. Let me go here. She said I shouldn't come to her. Should I listen to her? Hey, why if I shouldn't come? You know what? Because she's hiding her face in the mask, I'm going to go to her because I can't see her smile. You can't blame me, can you? Oh, but you can still answer the question. Right? It's a simple one. Wait. When is Planetary Liberation Day celebrated? When?
Saturday, September.
We have 4 or 5 Saturdays in September. Which one?
3rd September.
3rd Saturday each September. Give her a round of applause. You see, it wasn't that bad. You win yourself a special book. Yes, and to all who helped there, you can go and read the book as well. Thank you so much for being engaging. I have other questions, but I will not ask them now. So you chill, relax, okay? Everything is fine. So at this juncture, let me get to the meat of the matter. We've been waiting to hear from our special guest, and we would want to do so now. So please help me with a round of applause. Welcome Ni Ashikote to deliver a speech about law, legal matters, family issues, and peace. Please, with a round of applause, welcome Ni Ashikote.
God bless you. I think this is a very deep topic, and I'll do my best to stay within time. I have 10 minutes to deliver this. We will actually need more than a day, but I'll do my best. So, my presentation will focus on the strength of family character as a tool for global peace. And I'll be focusing on legal issues within families, such as divorce, property-related feuds or disputes, and then we'll see how we can sort of bring everything together and to see how it will lead us towards world peace. So, as we widely know, the family is a fundamental unit of society, and it plays an instrumental role in shaping our communities, nations, and the world at large. If peace is to be attained globally, it must be nurtured within the familial confines. However, when legal complexities invade these sacred bounds, the prospect of broader social and societal peace can become very clouded. These are a few of the issues that impact family unity and peace. There are divorces, there are custody battles, property ownership disputes, and inheritance disputes. Somehow, divorces are very prevalent in Ghana, and they don't only dissolve marital bonds, but also disrupts the harmony within extended families. The legal challenges during separations often perpetuate animosity, and they lead to emotional scars that may never truly heal. In cases where there is a child or children in the marriages, when the marriages are dissolved, the fate of that child or the children become a pivotal concern. The emotional toll on these battles on the children, who are often used as pawns, can have long-lasting psychological effects. Where custody battles come in, the fate of the children is what becomes the matter. And if we are not careful, these children will develop into something society doesn't want to see. There is also property ownership disputes. Over here in Ghana, land and property are more than mere assets. We view them as legacies. Where disputes over ownership often stem from poorly documented transactions or undefined inheritance laws, it leads to lots of litigations that can strain the family ties even for generations. The distribution of a deceased family member's assets can also become very contentious, especially in the absence of a clear will. Such disputes often reveal deeper family rifts, driving wedges between siblings and relatives. All of these disputes have ripple effects in the society at large. Disputes within families do not remain confined. They definitely find their impact on societies. Children from fractured homes carry their trauma into the world, often reflecting it in their interactions with their peers and society. There's also a perception, a societal perception, that families undergo when there are legal disputes, and that can be very judgmental. These may lead to further isolation, pushing families into defensive corners rather than seeking reconciliation. The communities are where the families derive their strength. The family also has an inherent influence on the community and its peace, such that you will find that in a community riddled with family disputes, it's quite challenging to come together for collective causes, including the cause of peace. We find that religious institutions have a major role to play in bringing the peace that we talk about. Historically, religious institutions have been the bedrock of moral values and societal norms in many communities. Churches, mosques, and temples have often played reconciliatory roles, offering guidance and solace to many families amidst turmoil. Their teachings, centered on unity, love, and forgiveness, have been pivotal in resolving family disputes. I'd like to give a few advice to religious institutions on how these disputes can be curtailed or managed. There could be the organization of counseling sessions. Most times, we hear of marriage counseling in about a month or two before a couple decides to get married. If you critically analyze these times where such marriage counseling is done, you would realize that at that point, these couples have already decided to get married. It is hardly that the marriage will not take place. So where there are situations that the couple can get to learn even before they get to the point of choosing whoever their partner will be, we believe it can go a long way to help resolve such disputes. So we encourage the churches and religious organizations to implement premarital counseling sessions. And these are different from what is done about a month or two before the couple decides to get married. We also encourage religious bodies to introduce family counseling sessions. At such sessions, different topics can be treated. One which we want to suggest is mediation. There are many times that cases end up in court, and you have the court system even encouraging the parties to try to settle the issues out of court. Where there are such conferences, we believe that it will reduce the level or amount of litigations that even go to the courts. And such disputes often leave a lot of pain on the disputing parties. However, during mediation processes, you can have the dispute settled in a much peaceful and cordial environment which can encourage oneness. We also suggest that there should be regular community forums and workshops to discuss family values, challenges, and other conflict resolutions, as I've stated earlier. Finally, constantly reinforcing the importance of unity, understanding, and proper communication can also create an environment less susceptible to disputes. And these can also be done through the sermons and other literature materials. To conclude, in the quest of global peace, the significance of harmonious families cannot be understated. It is a collective endeavor where the legal fraternity, religious institutions, and society must work in tandem to promote and nurture peaceful families. It is said that, for in the laughter of our children, in the unity of our families, lies the hope for a peaceful world. Thank you.
Thank you. We can do better for Ni Ashikote. Such a great delivery. Very simple, succinct, and easy to understand. Ni Ashikote Esquire. Thank you so much. Now, before we hear from our next speaker, there are some special guests in the audience that I have to acknowledge. So please give me just about 2 minutes to do that. And as I mentioned their name, please help by giving them a round of applause for their presence here. Thank you. So let's start with Reverend Samuel Sasu. He is from the Center for Spiritual Awareness. Our next special guest is Christine Hammond from the PIWC. Christine Hammond. Oh, okay, she's over there. Reverend Lambert Mtiba is with the Church Universal and Triumphant. Reverend Lambert. We have a representative from the Brotherhood of the Cross and Star, George Anamwa. Kwabena O. Ajiman is also with the Brotherhood of the Cross and Star. Can we see you? And then we have Elizabeth Anamwa, also from the Brotherhood of the Cross and Star, very well represented here. Our next special guest is Abdullah Sulemana from Ahmadiyya. Abdullah Sulemana, welcome. Then we have Judy Gilmore from Missionary Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So these are special guests. As and when we get more names, we'll introduce them. But thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. Thank you so much. So before I introduce the next speaker, you can see that there is a seat here, and I want to fill that seat with a very deserving personality. So let me do that right now. Now, this person is a population and health professional with interests in health policy and advocacy. Now, throughout her career, she has worked on several initiatives that are all focused on improving the lives and educational outcomes of young girls through access to reproductive health information and services. Now, she comes from a community in the Western region where teenage pregnancy is high. And as a problem solver, what did she do? In 2014, she launched a girl-child empowerment project to advance sexuality education for girls in schools in her community to address the rate of teenage pregnancy and school discontinuation for girls. She's been working in the reproductive health space since then. She currently works as the Advocacy and Donor Relations Manager at MSI Reproductive Choices Ghana, formerly known as Marie Stopes Ghana, where she oversees development, implementation, and reporting on all projects, donor engagement, and manages all advocacy projects. She also managed the delivery of youth responsive interventions and services across the country. You can agree with me that she's no mean a person. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the stage Esi Asare Pra with a round of applause. Thank you, that's great. Let's move on to our next speaker, who will be talking about spousal cohesion and its influence on children. Help me welcome Sister Josephine Tete to the stage.
Hello. Hello. Good morning. I guess this is so high. Can it be reduced a bit, or it's okay? Good morning. So, I'm here to share with you spousal cohesion in collaboration with our theme, building a family character, a roadmap to world peace. What is spousal cohesion? It is the animosities, the disagreements, the tensions, the frictions that stems up in any environment where you find a couple relating or living their lives. Relationship is the coming together of two or more people with an agenda of helping each other become better. You step into any relationship and your core agenda is to help whoever you are stepping into that relationship with to become a better version of themselves. And so, for spousal relationships, it's always stemmed on the intention of bringing greater interest to whoever has or have decided to come together to be called a couple. And so, looking at bringing all of their resources together and become better people for themselves, and even to start raising a family, and for their community and for the nation at large. However, this relationship that seeks to bring the best out of people who decide to be called a couple most times are marred because people do not understand who and what they are as individuals, what they are constituted of as a person created after the image and likeness of their maker, having a gender identity captured in senses of sight, smell, taste, hearing, and touch that forms your own unique individual identity. And in this identity you find yourself, there are 5 main life drives or areas each individual seeks or will express who he or she is. So we seek to express ourselves in who we are as spiritual beings, emanating from our Creator, who we are as social beings, having an identity coming from a family and needing to relate with ourselves and with our environment, having a psychological identity, how we think and feel in our emotions and how we relate with ourselves and our environment in that regard, who we are in our physique, looking at our health and beauty, and how we would want to operate financially, bringing economic impact to our society. So this is who we are as people or individuals, having a persona being, a gender being, and a sense being, relating through our 5 life drives within an environment we call time, energy, space, and the circumstance around us. The times of today is different from the times of 10 years back or 20 years back. The circumstance you find yourself in today is different from the circumstance I would find myself in, or the other party would find him or herself in. So, the fundamental issue we're having with relationship, for which matter we're having spousal cohesion, is that people do not have a knowledge system about who and what they are, what they are constituted of, what their drives are to push them to exhibit what or impact life with who and what they are. And so we enter into relationship without a solid foundation of who we are, and for that matter, who would come complement me to be the highest best of myself or the other person's self. And so you would bear testimony with me that our legal practitioner said most of these are not handled before people get into marriage. And so the problem starts from that. In times past, let's say 50 years and before, our predecessors knew that before a young adult steps into marriage, would have to go through the practice and lessons of puberty rites. And in that puberty rites, these young adults from the age of 12 are taken through several disciplines, several knowledge systems about themselves, personal hygiene, who they are as gender beings and how they can take care of themselves, and how they growing into adulthood, how to manage these beings that they are. Today, we do not find that in our communities. Our young adults are growing, and at a point in time, we expect them to be married. Whether you have a knowledge system of what marriage is all about, or you do not have, at the age of 25 upwards, society keeps pressuring us, get married, without looking for what institutes the proper way of marriage. If we are establishing institutions, we put together all that is required to make our institutions work. However, marriage or relationships are one institution that we as a human society have failed to put the structures there to guide people to be able to relate and live meaningfully, sharing their values and growing together to impact life. And so we have spousal cohesion because we do not understand who we are as people, and we do not understand who the other party is as a person. We have also been nurtured from different environmental backgrounds, and our environmental backgrounds make great impact on who we are as people. And so when we come together, these would definitely pose problems. But if we have gone through the foreknowledge that our predecessors taught their young adults before they step into marriage, that is the puberty right and what it comes with, we wouldn't find ourselves in that. And you would testify with me that marriages in the times of 50 years and before were very stable and solid and stood their grounds. However, today we have our young generation very abreast with knowledge, with education, with everything around them, with information about their human rights, and therefore making them very vocal, very assertive. However, who they are as humans and individuals is lacking in their personal individual lives, and therefore are not able to be grounded and to live and make their impact in life. Our founder and leader, Brother Ishmael Tete, has this quote: marriages have become like broken pots that are constantly being mended. This is as a result of people going into marriages just because they have affinity, they have interest, and they feel excited about somebody, and therefore it becomes the foundation for marriage. And when marriages are instituted this way, it develops with several cohesions in the marriage. And therefore, we are bringing to you that before you step into marriage, who are you as a person? What are you constituted of? What are your goals and ambitions, for which reason you would need a specific person with a specific nature and character to come support you, and vice versa, to make greater impact, to become greater persons, and therefore make greater impact in life. We as a system in conscious humanity, we have a program known as the Essential Life Education, the Science of Self-Discovery and Life Mastery, that teaches the individual who he or she is, what he or she is constituted of, what your makeup is, and for what drives you operate through. Per this, we are able to guide people to be very self-aware, to be very self-determined, pursuing paths that are identical to their innate core abilities. And when you enter into relationship with these background knowledge, your relationships are firmly grounded because you know why you are in this relationship and you know what you are pursuing. And so, with this, it is all not lost. It is all not lost because you go into the legal firms, the rate at which divorces and separations are skyrocketing, it is alarming. But I tell you that it is all not lost. The hope and the future lies between you and I. If we will begin to take the right steps and do the right things, begin to discover who we are, and take the right paths in learning the processes and what it takes to enter into relationship, we will definitely have greater and bright future, which would be less of spousal cohesion, and thereby raising very peaceful, solid, and happy families with happy children, which relates or correlates with our environment that generates peaceful environment, extending to our nations and the world at large. So, I am entreating that in this year's Planetary Liberation Day's theme, building a family character, a road map to world peace, I am appealing to each one of us, whether we are in marriages already or we are yet to go into marriages. The foundation for you to step into a relationship is to discover you. Be in tune with who you are. Be empowered in who you are before you take the right step. And we have a manual known as the Essential Life Education Manual, the Science of Self-Discovery and Life Mastery, that has what it takes to take you through discovering you and becoming the best aware self of you before you step into marriage, thereby having the best of relationship, making the best impact in your family, and thus replicating it in your society and the world at large. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Josephine Kafui Tete, for that insightful presentation. Indeed, you really cannot live in cohesion if you don't know who you are. So, first things first, get to know who you are. That's the crux of her message. Another round of applause for her, please. I hope we are picking up very essential nuggets of wisdom from these speeches we're hearing. Because I'll be asking questions though. I have a target. The first seat, the man in the middle, you're my target. You're ready for me. I like that. You see, everybody should be like him. Please, the next thing we're talking about, computer age, Gen Z, technology, AI. Has anyone been worried about the future of humanity? Because right now everything is technology. Artificial intelligence is taking over. At least I have thought about it. I thought maybe in like 20, 30, 50 years, there really won't be any difference between a human and a machine. Because now, with the help of AI, you have apps that are actually acting, feeling, the very feelings and emotions that we consider human. You know? So this next speaker will be talking about technology, its effect on modern day parenting and family. If you've been worried about the fact that your child is always on the phone, even when they have to eat at the dining table, they are doing TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, one of them. This next speaker wants to tell you something. Are you ready to listen to him? Are you ready to listen to him? Please help me welcome onto the podium Samuel Annan Simons to talk about technology, its effect on modern day parenting and family.
Good morning, distinguished audience. I am so happy to be here to represent the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints on this occasion of Planetary Liberation Day. This is my second year of participating in this celebration, and I feel so honored to share this august podium with this amazing panel and wonderful speakers. I've already been so enriched as I have heard them speak to us. And thank you all for being here and for being so engaging. I want to particularly mention Brother Ishmael Tete for his foresight and vision and his determination to bring about world peace. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints joins all amazing people like Brother Ishmael Tete all across the world in bringing this vision to pass. And it is possible. We can make that happen. Thank you. On this occasion, I've been asked to speak on the topic, the effect of technology on modern day parenting. My brothers and sisters, you've probably heard from the scriptures that you are a chosen generation. What does that mean? It means God chose and prepared you and I to come to this earth at this time for a great purpose. I know this to be true. Because never before in history have individuals been so blessed with so many choices. More choices mean more opportunities. More opportunities mean more potential to do good, and unfortunately, to do evil as well. I believe that God sent us here on this earth because He trusts us, you and I, to successfully discern among the many mind-boggling choices that are available to us and resources that He is so abundantly made available to us. In 1974, President Spencer W. Kimball of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints said, and I quote, "I believe that the Lord is anxious to put into our hands inventions of which laymen have hardly had a glimpse." Close quote. This was in 1974. And indeed, God has. He has put so many amazing technology into our hands, great inventions. You and I are growing up and have grown up with some of the greatest tools for good in the history of man. The internet, the smartphones, video games, artificial intelligence, AI, etc., etc. With it comes an elaborate buffet of choices. The abundance of choices, however, carries with it an equal portion of accountability. It facilitates your access to both the very best and the very worst the world has to offer. With it, you can accomplish great things in a short period of time, or you can get caught up in endless loop of triviality. With a click of a button, you can access whatever your heart desires. And that's the key. What does your heart desire? What do your children's heart desire? What do they gravitate towards? Where will their desires lead them? How do parents get the hearts of their children to gravitate towards a desire to do good continually? Elder Gary Stevenson explained, with so many appropriate and inspired uses of technology, let us use it to teach, inspire, and lift ourselves, and to encourage others to become their finest rather than to portray evil. Let us also teach and demonstrate the righteous use of technology to the rising generation and warn against the associated hazards and destructive use of technology. Parents can educate themselves, and that's important, educate themselves and their children about the risks and benefits of using social media, games, and mobile apps. parents can also regularly review their children's use of media and technology and unplug themselves and their children from media when it is doing more harm than good. Again, another elder of the Church of Jesus Christ taught, opposite its harmful and permissive side, media or technology offers much that is positive and productive. Television offers history channels, discovery channels, education channels. One can still find movies and TV comedies and dramas that entertain and uplift and accurately depicts consequences of right and wrong. The internet can be a fabulous tool of information and communication, and there is an unlimited supply of good music in the world. Thus, our biggest challenge is to choose wisely what we listen to, what we watch, and what we do with the technology available to us. If you are like most parents, you worry about what technology is doing to your kids. Are they on their phones too much? Are they sharing too much on social media? In fact, research indicates just how addicted to technology kids truly are and how it is impacting them. For instance, this generation's technology use is increasing bullying, decreasing their ability to empathize, and robbing them of creativity. In fact, colleges and corporations are reporting that young people who have grown up in this tech-savvy world are lacking in emotional skills compared with kids a few decades ago. So, what are parents supposed to do? Many parents are desperate and are looking for answers and tools and ways they can take control of their children's technology use. They would like to set family boundaries, track their kids' mobile use, and identify their top device stressors. May I offer 4 principles to help parents educate their children's desires and guide their technology use. 1, knowing who they really are makes a difference. Mrs. Kafui Tete, thank you very much. Knowing who they really are makes a whole lot of difference. Parents will do well to embed in the minds of their young ones their divine origin and destiny. Each one of them is a beloved son or daughter of a loving Father in heaven, with potential to become a great force for good and to ultimately return to the presence of their Maker. Dear parents, help each one of them feel that they are good enough and that they do not need the validation of others in the social media and technology space to feel that they are of infinite worth. Knowing this will help them in their choices, in their choice of media and their technology use. Second, teach them to plug into the true source of power. Right in the palm of their hands, they have the wisdom of the ages. More importantly, the words of the prophets from the Old Testament days, all the way down to modern days of great exemplars who are showing good wisdom and great decision making. If they don't regularly recharge their cell phone, it is useless. Think about that. And they feel lost and out of touch. I'm sure you feel so too. They wouldn't think of going a single day without charging their battery. As important as it is to leave home every day with a full charge on their cell phone, it is far more important to be fully charged spiritually. Every time they plug in their phone, help them use it as a reminder to ask themselves if they have plugged in to the most important source of spiritual power: prayer and scripture study, which will charge you and them, and with inspiration through the power of the Holy Ghost. Third, owning a smartphone does not make you smart, but using it wisely can make you even smarter. My dear parents, help our young people refrain from doing dumb things with their smartphones. There are countless ways technology can distract you from what is most important. Parents, help your children join the battalions of forces for good in using technology. Teach them the correct principles and leave them to govern themselves. Watch and provide feedback when necessary, and help them know that you trust their judgments and that they are smarter than the smartphone. Fourth, the Lord provides technology to accomplish His purposes. The divine purpose of technology is to hasten the work of salvation and exaltation. As members of the rising generation, they understand technology, but help them use it to accelerate and to progress in their efforts towards perfection. The Lord expects you to use these great tools to take His work to the next level, to share the gospel in ways that are beyond our wildest imaginations. Where generations past influenced their neighbors and their town, young people today have the power through the internet and social media to reach beyond borders and influence the whole world. That is why I believe that together with Brother Ishmael Tete, we will be successful at creating world peace. I testify that technology is of God. And it's a force for good, in fact, more good than evil. Modern day and future parenting is and will be easier and better because of technology. Dear parents, you are chosen to participate in this work of raising a competent, confident, righteous generation for good and for peace at this time, because God, our Father in heaven, trusts you to make the right choices. And He has made technology so abundantly available today, and many more will come, for His wise purpose. And I so live this with you in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. That is a very powerful speech, very profound. Please, another round of applause for Samuel Annan Simons. There are so many quotes I can get from his speech, So many questions, so many things to say. One, to our parents, help us to plug to the most important source of power. And one, to us, the millennials, Gen Zs. Yes, we have smartphones, but they can help make us smarter. Well, way smarter than the phones we use. Another round of applause for him, please. So I was thinking that we've had three very great speeches, very practical, deep, pragmatic speeches from three very intelligent and excellent speakers. How about we take 2 to 3 minutes to internalize what we've heard so far as we prepare our minds and bodies for the next speakers. So at this point, let's really reflect on what we've heard. The great speeches from Ni Ashikote, from Sister Josephine Tete, and then this one from Samuel and Simons. Three very great thematic areas we've been looking at: legal, spousal cohesion, and then the effects of technology on modern day parenting. Let's take some time and think about the words we've heard today. Can I have some music as we do that, please? Thank you very much for that musical break, and I'm sure it helped you reflect a lot, to think about what you've heard and ask some questions of yourself. I've always said I have questions of my own for all of you here. And I think I was reflecting, this is the time for me to ask those questions. But let's play a game. How many of you know about this game called Two Truths and One Lie? Anybody know about a game called Two Truths and One Lie? Yes, so there's somebody here who knows about it. Anybody else? Okay, let me basically explain. So I'll tell you things about myself, for instance, 3 things about myself. Based on what you know, you will determine or detect which one is a lie. Okay? Can we do that? So I'll do that. I'll give you an example. Now we're going to play that game with the speeches we've heard. You listen to them attentively, so I will point out 2, 3 things they've said, and then you would tell me which one is the truth, which one is the lie. So let's start with my example. So me, I have very small eyes. I have very small eyes. I am articulate. I am articulate. I'm taller than Daddy, Brother Ishmael Tete. So which is the lie? Yes, so the third statement, I'm taller than Daddy, is the lie. I was going to ask him to stand by me, but it's fine. The humiliation is okay. I don't want to continue. Let me give you another example. Brother Ofori is a Taekwondo expert. This is Brother Ofori. Please wave for them to see you. He's a Taekwondo expert. Brother Ofori is an elder here at the Ethereum Mission. Brother Ofori is the best dancer in this church. He's the best dancer in this church. Are you able to detect the lie in here? Which one? Oh, Brother Ofori, they say you can't dance, so. See, I'm tempted to ask them to play some music, I will show you. But it's okay. So that's the lie, yeah? So that's what we're going to do with this next part of the program. And as always, I have gifts. So if you're able to answer, I'll give you something special. So let's start with our first speaker, Ni Ashikote. I'm going to give you 3 statements from his speech. If you know which one is the lie and the truth, kindly raise your hand. I'll come to you and then you tell me. Is that okay, please? That's okay? Great. So let's go. So first statement. Religious organizations can have the most critical role in creating peace by providing proper counseling to couples. The first statement. Religious organizations can have the most critical role in creating peace by providing proper counseling to couples. That's the first statement. The second statement, an arbitrator can be introduced in times of disputes when families don't have the capability to access legal processes. Let me take that again. An arbitrator can be introduced in times of dispute when families don't have the capability to access legal processes. The final statement, it is essential to have wills to guide property sharing and avoid disputes. It is essential to have wills or a will to guide property sharing and avoid disputes. These are the 3 statements from Ni Ashikote's speech. So I ask, who knows the truth and the lie in these 3 statements? You can raise your hand if you do. I'm giving gift too. I have very special books to give to you. Anybody? Should I call names? Should I come around? Nobody's answering, so I'm coming around. If you smile, I will walk by you. It's a day of peace. If you're not smiling, I might as well just come to you. Don't worry, I'm not coming to you again. Anybody? Okay, great. That's it. Volunteer, please clap for him. Okay, so let me go over again for you so you are sure. 1, religious organizations can have the most critical role in creating peace by providing proper counseling to couples. 2, an arbitrator can be introduced in times of dispute when families don't have the capability to access legal processes. And 3, it is essential to have wills to guide property sharing and avoid disputes.
The second statement.
The second statement. Please, do you agree? Second statement, which is that? Is that the lie or the truth?
The arbitrator
Is the lie or the truth?
is a lie.
Is the lie. You're saying that is the lie. Do you agree with him? Hey. So, let me go to the expert. Please, they said the second statement is a lie. The second statement is an arbitrator can be introduced in times of dispute when families don't have the capability to access legal processes. Mr. Lawyer. Please, so. I don't have the power to say anything, so kindly help us. Is that the lie?
It's a bit difficult to say. I actually didn't say that an arbitrator can be introduced. No, I didn't say it.
So, in essence, they've pointed out that I'm lying, right? So I'm going to give him the book. Clap for him. See, I've stopped lying. This one, I'm getting all of you. We're getting it from Sir Josephine's speech, yes? So let's look at the 3 statements. 1, we are only physical beings expressing in time, energy, space, and circumstance. We are only physical beings expressing in time, energy, space, and circumstance. That's the first statement. Second statement, we operate differently in our senses. We operate differently in our senses. This makes it essential to understand and master our 5 senses and our partners. Okay? Should I say that again? We operate differently in our senses. This makes it essential to understand and master our 5 senses and our partners. The final statement, it is essential to also understand the 5 senses of your children and know which ones they operate from more actively. This can help you understand how they learn and react to circumstances. That's the third statement. It is essential to also understand the 5 senses of your children and know which ones they operate from more actively. This can help you understand how they learn and react to circumstances. So, 2 truths, 1 lie. Who's answering for me? I saw a smile. Very beautiful one from Sister Angela. I want to walk to her, but in the process of walking, if somebody raises their hand, I'll consider the person. So I'm walking to Sister Angela. Please, if you know the answer, you can raise your hand. They don't want to save you. See how slow I'm walking. Nobody wants to save you. Oh, there's a hand. She's relieved. So let's hear from Our Lady. Do you want me to repeat the statement? Great. Okay. Which of them is the truth, or which of them is the lie? Basically, that.
The first one is the lie.
The first is the lie. Do we agree? Do we agree? But I don't agree. Oh. I thought it was, wasn't it number 2? Oh, it wasn't. It was the first one. Exactly, the first one. Give her a round of applause, please. So we'll give you a special book. I have only 2, so it's fine. Let's go on. We'll continue. So all I want you to do is to listen more, pay attention, and then you're able to detect the lie from the truth. Okay? Has it been fun? Has it been fun? Okay, my next target is after... Don't worry, I'll come to you when it's time. You're looking at me, I'll come to you when it's time. Okay? So please, up next we want to have AC Pra, our next speaker, and she'll be talking about reproductive health, sexual education, and family health and its relevance in building a family character for world peace. Please help me welcome AC Pra to the podium.
Hello. Thank you so much for the kind introduction, and good morning to you all. I am very excited to be here, and also I think if I can make a bold statement to be the relatively younger member of the speakers. I've not been in the best of health this week, but I absolutely didn't want to miss this conversation today, because it was really refreshing to receive the invitation in the first place to come to church to talk about the role of reproductive health in world peace. For us, in the work that we do, it was an honor to hear that a meeting of faith leaders, thought leaders, thinking about world peace comprehensively from law, from marriage counseling, to reproductive health. Thank you so much to the organizers, to Dr. Ishmael, for even giving us the platform. Because fundamentally, and I think the first speaker that defined family beautifully, family is the foundation of all things, right? But within the formation of family itself, even at the beginning of the formation of family itself, is reproductive health. And so if we're talking about the role of the family in advancing or addressing world peace or championing it, then we definitely cannot leave out family health and critically reproductive health in there. I think I can even go ahead to say that reproductive health is not only critical in the formation of the family itself, but for families, especially women and girls, and I will be biased here, their ability to achieve other dreams and aspirations, and enjoy other rights, other Christian values, and live as whole human beings, as I believe our Christian faith allows us to say we've been deigned to live, right? Life is a journey. For us to comprehensively live it well, we need to have adequate resources and be enabled to make informed decisions about our lives, our families as well. And that is where family health, specifically reproductive health, comes to play. I will start my conversation focusing a bit on young people. I am hoping, like our moderator has started, that this does not sound like a lecture, but a conversation that we can even continue beyond the event today. There are currently over 600 million adolescent girls around the world who are faced with critical choices that will impact the rest of their lives. But before I even go focusing on family health and reproductive health in there, I will do a bit of demography, because it is essential that we understand the connections between family health, demography, reproductive health, national development, and how all of this is linked with global peace. Ghana has a youthful population, right? The recent 2022 census, out of the 30.8 million that we have in this country, more than half, about 51%, are below the age of 25. We have a very young population, and we are not alone. The world today is recording one of the youngest population ever in history. And it gives us a unique opportunity to reap what we call demographic dividend. This is basically the economic gains that any country or even the world stands to gain from harnessing the energy and creativity of young people, right? So take Ghana as a country. More than half of your population is below the age of 25. Our country's socioeconomic status, we won't say is ideal. We say we are middle income. We could be called developing. We are here and there, right? Now, our ability to truly transform our country in the near future is largely dependent on the investment we make in more than half of the population that we have today. I believe you would agree with me. If you are selling tomatoes, you look at your target audience, you will probably market to women more because, and I don't enjoy saying that, but we say that women are more homely and they cook more, right? And so you look at your target audience and then you market to them. If you want development, and we're talking development, and we know people above 25, 30, leaders now have a critical role to play. But if you're thinking sustainable development, you're thinking futuristically, you're looking at who are the next generation, right? Who can transform your country. And so the investment, your ability to here and now invest in the more than half that are below 25 to ensure that in the next phase, you have a skilled labor force that is able to take you to the next level is critical. Because, see, if the population that we have, over 15 million that we have today that are below 25, if all of them are able to gain what Madam Josephine talked about, essential life skills, but also technical skills, what we call the skilled labor force, even if we do not have the jobs, right? Even if we are still poor, we can export such a skilled resource to a skilled human resource, a skilled person, even if they are an unemployed graduate, and we can talk about the fault in our education system, but can creatively, either themselves bring up industry, become entrepreneurs, and will most likely contribute meaningfully to your economy in taxes, in investment, in whichever way, than an unskilled labor force, right? Now, what is the role of the family in here? Why am I talking national population? Maybe you care about Ghana like I do, or maybe you're looking at just your family unit. What's in it for me? Take a poor family, and I would be vulnerable, use myself as an example and tell the story, but also not making it so personal, right? The first graduate of a smaller family, a poor family, he or she makes it through tertiary education, become employed, right? The family would have invested in the first graduates, right? They would have invested, make sure that this person, and I will use she because I'm biased, allow me. She goes through school, starts earning, right? But still the cycle of poverty in her family will not be broken by just her. And we practice the extended family system here in Ghana. Now, that's first graduate's ability and their family's ability to reap their own demographic dividend, to reap from her, would also be dependent on how much she can support nephews and nieces to also make it like her, right? So if she's able to, say, target 4 nephews and nieces, support them through school because nobody else have the resources to take them through school, they make it tertiary, they become meaningfully employed in an ideal world, and I know I'm dreaming, but it is possible. What it means is that those 4 nephews and nieces are also now high earners who can then take care of their own lines, right? So their cousins, their children, their grandchildren, right? And so someday, and it will take a while for the first graduate, but someday at least by the time she goes on pension, she can peacefully, hopefully, enjoy her pension pay without having to worry about funeral fund and renovations in the family and the next person who is going to university, right? And so then, Even though it's just 4 people, she would have given the family dividend. Those 4 people, if they target 4 more, then gradually that poor family is breaking what? A cycle of poverty. However, if the first graduate, now even in this situation, if the first graduate is unable to gain meaningful employment, or is employed, is unable to take care of 4 people, or out of the 4 she's taking care of, 3 get pregnant, they drop out of school, she tries again, they drop out of school, they are unable to make it, and she's still just the one person supporting the family, it brings agitation. Sometimes she's unable to, right? If she goes broke or she goes into a financial crisis, the family has no other cushion because she's the only high earner, right? If she becomes unemployed, she knows she doesn't have the luxury of becoming unemployed. There's no trust fund anywhere. The family has invested in you. Everybody is entitled to your money if you are from the typical account system, right? And so she might be even tempted to go through other illegal means to ensure that she is still living up to her status as the first graduate. Because if you are working, at least the expectation you are graduate, you should bring money home. We've invested in you, we want dividend. And so her ability to even make it is also curtailed by the socioeconomic landscape, right? And even other social factors. But then if for the 4 people she invests in becomes wasted investment, she doesn't reap dividend from there, the family then continue to have the cycle of poverty. And what it means is that if especially they dropped out of school due to teen pregnancy, their children will probably drop out of school due to teen pregnancy, selling tomatoes. They are not a skilled labor force. The story may be familiar to you. It is very familiar to me. It is my story. It may be familiar to a family that you know, but it's also familiar to Ghana. We have more than half of our population below 25 years. And yet, Ghana today cannot meaningfully hit its chest and say that all girls in primary 3 today, by 2030, all of them will be in a tertiary education. Even with free basic compulsory education, with free senior high school, we cannot hit our chest and say that because critical basic reproductive health issues, preventable issues like teen pregnancy continue to rid us of future leaders. We continue year on year to record 100,000s of teen pregnancy. And I'm not saying these are 100,000 futures. In 2022, we recorded over 102,000. 2021, it was 107,000. And whilst we see minimal reductions, right, over the years, we are still over hundreds and hundreds of thousands of girls getting pregnant. 32% of all 19-year-olds in Ghana today are already mothers. And we are creating a cycle of children who themselves need parenting. What is the role of the family here? How do we achieve world peace? If unemployment is rife, streetism is rife, teen pregnancy is rife, sexual violence all over the place, because critically, fundamentally, we are not taking the basis seriously, and Madam Josephine talked about it. In the past, we did have cultures and practices that ensured that we, to some extent, had some comprehensive reproductive health education for young people. And whilst technology is rife and now they are exposed to all kinds of information, we do not seem to have a very critical measure to address the ignorance that young people have as far as their reproductive health is concerned. Mind you, we have parents themselves who are not even aware of what the menstrual cycle is. They did not receive any detailed education. They don't know about family planning themselves. They don't know the basics to even teach the child. We have a generation of parents themselves who are ignorant about the foundations of forming a family, their reproductive health. And so they also socialize and grow another generation of ignorant parents, children parenting, and we are unable to reap dividend from the rich human resource that we have. And largely, And that is why I started that I'm very happy to be here today in church as a Christian myself with Christian leaders. Largely, our challenge, what is contributing to the cycle of ignorance that is really ridding us of our ability to really develop as a country and contribute to world peace, has to do with widespread misconception about what comprehensive family planning would mean. Because at the basis here, family planning is just you as an individual or a couple looking at your resources, your aspirations, your fertility intentions, and taking a decision that would ensure that you are not bringing an individual into the world that you cannot take care of, right? We talk about the Christian duty, and we do emphasize, in Matthew 8, when Jesus heals the leper, right? In Matthew 10, Mark, we talk about the role of us Christians or as faith, even in Islam, in whichever religion, we are very familiar with our role as far as health is concerned. But most of the time, you focus on physical health, right? Curing the ill. And these are very important. But we mix out. We are not willing to go into, we stay in our comfort zone, but we are not willing to have critical conversations most of the time about reproductive health. And Madam talked about comprehensive counseling and life planning education. What are we covering even before people go into marriage? When we're covering marital counseling or marriage counseling, what information are we equipping couples to ensure that you're looking at what you're earning, you and your partner? When do you want to start a family? Even after marriage, it doesn't mean that childbirth must be immediate. Have you saved for the child? What is the cost of raising a child today? What will be the cost? Because that will be 18, 25 years. What will be the cost of raising the child in the next future? Does your current income support 2, 3, 4? How are you going to, in the event of unemployment, cater for those children? So that before you bring the child to the world, you have looked at your life, your partner, your wife. Where am I today in my career? Where do I want to go in the next 2 years? If I've started having children, when do I next have a child? That would ensure that our life, our aspirations as a family is not also interrupted. In this way, we are bringing children that would not need to depend on any other person to survive, to have clothing, to have menstrual pads, to attend to their basic human needs. That is the responsibility of the parent in the first place. Where I come from, and I'm happy she mentioned it in my introduction. I'm from Takwan Swayam in the Western region. And if you are from, and I grew up there, right? So university that I went to Cape Coast. If you go to rural communities in Ghana, and not even rural Accra, you go to Odona, you go to Kolegono, you can have one household, 32-year-old, she's a great-grandmother already, and they are in a one-bedroom apartment, and they are there, and her children is having kids, and they are having kids, and they are in churches. We are a religious nation, right? If they are not Christian, they are Islam. The proportion of non-believers in this country is absolutely almost insignificant. They are in churches. And if we're saying we're caring for one another, we must care about these fundamentals. How are we supporting the members of our communities to be able to make informed decisions that will help them, but will also help us as a country? Because you see, while you may be well earning and have 2, 3 kids that you can adequately take care of, her 8, 6 kids, all of us, our biggest hospital is Kolebu. If there are no beds, we all suffering there. We all use the same electricity. We bear the cost of people's inability to take care of their own children, if you want to think about it selfishly in that way. But also we have a responsibility as a faith community to think about how we educate and empower our communities to be able to make informed decisions. That parents will not force their kids to go into transactional sexual unions to bring money home. And this is a common trend here in Ghana. A family should not be about that. A family should not be in a situation where the father abuses the child, gets her pregnant, forces her into unsafe abortion. That is not what the family unit is supposed to advance, but this is common. Sexual violence in families and communities, leading girls to run away from homes and go into men who take advantage of them. What is more disturbing in the 100,000s of pregnancies that we record in this country is those between 10 and 15 years. 10 and 15-year girls, 3,000, thousands of them getting pregnant each year. Children of parents, children of members of Christian communities, getting pregnant at such an early age that puts their life at risk. Because maternal mortality amongst adolescents is high generally in Ghana, but higher even amongst adolescents. What are we doing as a Christian community, as a family unit to address this? I have 3 acts or 3 recommendations as I wrap up. Religious leaders and faith communities influence decision-makings and norms, which affect the family values, right? We need to start moving from our comfort zone, start thinking critically about how we do marriage counseling, even our support for reproductive health education, whether in school, in our churches, in counseling unit. We must advance comprehensive counseling system that will help the communities that we serve to be able to bring citizens into the country, people into the country that they can adequately take care of. We also need to look at how faith actors speak about reproductive health, sexual violence, family planning, because most of the time, the communities that we serve, they listen to our leaders, and they would hear us. If we are perpetuating myths and misconceptions, they are not going to make the right decisions that will help them and our community. But if we are seeking the right information and feeding them with right information to make objective decisions, then we together will support them to grow, to become meaningful citizens, and in there, we would have contributed greatly to world peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much. AC Asare Pra. That was a very convincing speech. She painted the reality. The numbers are staggering, aren't they? Very. 32% of all 19-year-old females in Ghana are mothers. If there's a time to act, well, when is that time? Is it tomorrow, next year, 50 years from now? The time to act is now. And that's why we are here. And I'm glad that we're all listening to this, because we're all responsible to make this world a better place for everyone. So if you pledge to act for world peace in your very own small way, let me hear you shout, yes. 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 We all have a responsibility to play, and I'm very glad that we have these insightful speeches and presentations. So our final speaker for today is none other than Brother Ishmael Tete. Please help me with a rousing round of applause to welcome him. He'll be speaking about how to build a family character.
Hello. Good morning. Let me feel the spirit. Good morning. Character is what distinguishes you from everybody. We all have different shapes of noses. We all breathe in the same air. That tells us that we all have unique characters. then we come closer to group characters. From all we have heard, it must dawn on us that we have several factors to take into consideration for the creation of a character that works for the highest good of yourself and everyone. We have legal concerns so that your character will not collide with somebody else's character. We are free beings in the world. However, your freedom ends where my nose begins. So character must have some legal boundaries and ways of implementing it so that posterity will continue to congratulate you. When we talk about world peace in our lifetime, it sounds very huge. However, in my lifetime, I've seen the Berlin Wall come down. In my lifetime, I've seen apartheid dismantled. In my lifetime, I've seen a man of color in the White House. In my lifetime, I've seen a Ghanaian, a black, south of the Sahara, become head of the United Nations. In my lifetime, I've seen social media used to topple governments that were not working. So I know that in my lifetime, we can come together, forge our unity, and we can topple ignorance. Listen to the last speaker about family health. It's important to have peace in your soul. When we talk about world peace, many people are looking at an event to happen. No, world peace is not an event to happen. We are all in this room. However, each of us is in a different world. In my thinking, in my feeling, in my morals, I'm in a different place from the next closest person to me. So we all have worlds within us. World peace means having peace in your inner world. Everybody can experience peace in their world. You have experienced world peace in your lifetime. So don't die a confused person, leaving a legacy of confusion also behind you. Many people pass on, and they pass on leaving a legacy of pain, misery. So world peace means I will experience peace in my inner worlds, and I will therefore leave a legacy of peace. The confusions we see in our homes, doesn't matter what religion or moral background you come from, all confusions come from within. The thoughts you think, the feelings you nurse, your relationship with the senses, as the first speaker spoke, these are what will cause internal confusions, which will result in external confusions, conflicts, and wars. Yet there is no education on how to take charge of and over our inner worlds. There's no education. We go through school, we learn with our mind, but there's no even education on the anatomy of your mind, the anatomy of thinking. How do you think? Are all the thoughts in you yours? There's no education on this. The first speaker gave us highlights of things we need to give attention to, like our senses, who and what we are, our life drives. And second speaker is telling us we are smart beings of our Creator. We are not made smart by smartphones or smart systems that we are chasing. If we can rise up to that value, bring ourselves to remembrance that we are not created beings. There's no creator out there who has created us. Life is the magic, wonderment, mystery that we choose to call God, and we have emerged from God like the waves have emerged from the ocean. If we will awaken to this, we will feel our value. When you feel your value, nobody can rape you. Nobody can mislead you, because you are living from your center. You are living pre-approved, feeling pre-approved of the universe that you have come from. We're coming from a creative, love, intelligent universe, And when you feel that truth for yourself, you feel pre-approved. Whenever I've had occasion to use soul processing to recover prostitutes, you'll always find a moment when they lost a sense of self-value. Somebody misused, abused them, and then they gave up on themselves. But when we rise to our sense of self-value, then it will make us ask ourselves, in what ways do I live to enhance this value? So peace is not the quiet of the graveyard. Peace is the activation and free expression of our innate potentials. If you don't identify your potentials, you see others expressing theirs, you feel cheated, and this will cause internal confusions, giving birth to external confusions, conflicts, and wars. Again, if you are able to identify your potential but you can't express them, you feel hemmed in and choked. And once again, that internal confusion will give birth to external confusions, conflicts, and wars. So the wars we see without have started from within us. And we need to give attention to this. So we need, as we have heard, the need for us to have marriage and parenting education. Marriage is the unit block of society. We go through school. Nobody teaches us relationship. So we don't know what it's all about. Most times, yes, I love you. I love you means I must marry you. No, it goes deeper. But when we don't have education on what is essential, to me, the most essential, the primary essential knowledge we need to have is relationship. Because before you were born, you were relating with the world through your mother. And long after you are dead, you will be relating. What are the dynamics of relationship? It borders on who and what you are, as we heard from the first speaker, and carries on, as the second speaker also taught us. Today, what even unites families as a bond of oneness is being taken over by churches. And because there's no systematic program to enhance what is lost from our families, we are getting more scattered. As we heard from the second speaker, programs like Depot, puberty rights that we were doing have all been shelved, and we are not replacing them. Even naming ceremony, outdoorings, and so on are now taken over by churches. So what brings family together is being run by the churches. If so, then there's a need for comprehensive education to cover up where the cultural heritage had taken us to. We have heard also of the multimedia challenge, and parents need to be multimedia wise so that you can my role to make it happen? Once these three are answered, the family character is created. And this will evolve into clan character. This will evolve into tribal character. This is why, if you will, for example, have a national character, who is a Ghanaian? This will grow us into having a national character to say, we are Ghanaians. Who and what is a Ghanaian? What qualifies us to be Ghanaian? We need Ghanaian character. And this must be taught right in the schools. If they are taught, we'll be able to know what has made Ashantis, Pawus, because each has characteristics. And we will also know how to harness these characteristics to create a national character. For example, if we will harness the factors that have made Ashantis to have groundbreaking spirit, and merge it with Ewes who have industrial spirit, and package it with Pawus who have business entrepreneurial spirit, and then ground it with the Nanumba Kukumba spirit that has steadfast and faithfulness spirit, and package it in the beautification spirit of the Fantis, and manage it in the industrial honesty spirit of the Ghana's, we have got recipe for national economic development. We have a plan, and we are God peace is possible. Yes? Yes? Thank you for listening. Please.
Thank you very much. May we have another round of applause for Brother Ishmael. For all the speakers, we've had all 5 of them deliver poignant, deep, profound speeches that have new learnings and insights that are useful for our quest of world peace, focusing on the individual. So please, let me ask one more time that we clap for all our speakers on the platform today. We delve more into details of the various sub-themes that we have heard about today in a panel discussion that's coming up shortly. But before that, let's have, let's ginger our creative juices. Let's have a spoken word performance from Maui, who is coming up right now. I see him beautifully dressed. Please, welcome him to round of applause.
Bless you. The God bless you response was not too peaceful. I must say I've enjoyed all the speeches we've had so far. I think they deserve a round of applause. So I'll go straight into it. War. 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 What is the sound of war? Do not ask me. Ask the soldier standing here with one short sleeve arm and another long sleeve arm, if you know what I mean. Give him his clutches. Let him walk. Perhaps he can still talk. Let him speak. If his bruised heart will still allow it. Let him tell the stories for his comrades, of his comrades' dying wishes. On this blood-soaked field, under sky so gray, a soldier lies wounded, his life slipping away. With every shallow breath, he whispers a plea. to see his lover's face one last time. Through the haze of pain, he recalls her grace, the way she laughs and dances with such elegance. But the battlefield is cruel, unforgiving, cold, and the soldier knows his story ends today. With his last ounce of strength, he utters her name, praying she'll come to him. But one long last breath, and then silence. His story ends today. Another dying soldier lies facing an impending doom. How many sons would we lose today? With each labored breath, regret consumes him for leaving his son, his baby boy, in this world. His memories like flickering flames, they dance in the firelight of his mind's last chance. He envisions his son, so innocent, so small, so fragile. His laughter, his dreams, his voice's sweet call. Regret washes over him like a tidal wave. For the moment he will miss the chance he won't say. He wishes he could hold his son once more, guide him through life as he has done before. But his story ends today. How many sons will we lose today? But how did we get here? Deep within each soul is a specter of fear, a darkness lurking, always drawing near. It whispers danger, breeds mistrust and doubt, and when left unchecked, it can lead to war. What is the sound of war? Fear is a relentless force, tearing hearts apart, fanning the flames of conflict, igniting from the start. It festers in the mind of those who scheme, pushing nations to battle. Fear, when left unchecked, blinds us to the truth that beneath the surface we share the same youth. We are born of the same hopes and dreams, the dreams we chase. But fear distorts our vision, taints our embrace. So let us not forget ever the horrors of the battlefield, the dying man's last breath, the battlefield's green lessons etched in time and space. We must see a higher way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a very good piece. We must be the center of peace. Only we achieve or attain the world peace that we're seeking. Thank you so much. So at this point in the program, we would have a brief panel discussion about the theme and the sub-themes that you've heard about in the speeches. And then we'll give you the opportunity to ask a few questions that you have. and direct them to the experts here on the panel, and then they will do justice to that. So just to refresh your memory, let me just introduce my panelists again. Here on my left, immediate left, is Samuel Annan Simons. He's Area 70 Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's him on my left. Please clap for him. Then I have next to him Mrs. Josephine Kapui Tete, counseling psychologist. Please clap for her as well. I'll go to the lady here, Esi Pra, is Advocacy and Donor Relations Manager, MSI Productive Choices Ghana, formerly known as Marriage Stokes Ghana. Then I have our lawyer, Lee Ashikote Esquire, and he will talk about legal-related family issues. And then in the middle, let's talk about Lee Ashikote. And then in the middle, we have our very own brother, Dr. Ishmael Tete, the founder, leader, Education Mission International. I like my panel, it's diverse, various experiences and insights, and gender balanced as well. So I'm actually happy about this panel. So let's get straight into it. Let's start with you, Mrs. Josephine Kapui Tete. Let's talk about spousal cohesion, because the basic unit of the society is the family. And without cohesion, we will not really see families thriving and flourishing. So talk to us about how spousal cohesion affects the upbringing of children and their concept of peace, world peace itself.
Thank you very much. So, in a home, once we have children coming in to form the family, the children look up to their parents, father and mother. They are the very first role models in their lives. And so whatever parents do, children learn it from them before they step out into society. If we have parents who are constantly on the edge and at the throat of each other, that is what children are also picking up to become. If we have violent activities and our words towards each other as a couple, it's not friendly, it's not harmonious, it's not accommodating. That is exactly what these children are also picking up to become. So they also become violent in their natures. So our attitudes are the very ones we lay down for our children from a very tender age to also learn, and that goes a very long way to impact their lives, and they in turn impacted their community with what they learn from the home. So parents are the first role models in every way to their children as to what they learn and to become.
It kind of reinforces the saying that children, well, you say things, but it's how you act that has an impression on them. So you say, don't touch this, but if you're touching it, they're learning from you in the process. Now, let's come to me, Ashikote. She talked about cohesion and the impact on children. If parents are violent, they are conflict prone, their children will learn to be violent and conflict prone. As a legal expert, talk to us about some of the common legal issues within families that lead to conflicts and disputes.
Okay, so just to pick some of the examples AC gave us in her speech, you could have a situation where the lead is ensuring that the others who come after her are well taken care of. In the situation where the next person who is being taken care of drops out, then there's trouble. So where there is the kind of conflict which can cause a married couple to separate, in instances where there are children involved, you could have the children being affected, and that can have an impact on how they relate with other people. If it so happens that before that separation, there is any kind of violence, whether it's violence being meted onto the man by a woman or the woman onto the man, the children see these things. It has an impact on them. It doesn't just make them learn how to be violent, but it can also have an effect on them. It kills their confidence and it makes them weak. So I believe that when we have these issues checked, it will go a long way in growing the children we want to see become our leaders of tomorrow.
Okay, good. I'll move to Samuel Anand Simons because he's talked to us about technology and its impact on modern day parenting. But can you elaborate more, sir, how technology has influenced the way parents and children are interacting within the family unit?
Thank you for this question. It's so clear. Technology has so much effect on everyday life. Parents, because of technology, are losing the contact time with children. Everybody in the family seems to own one form of technology or another. And they are built to be so engaging to the point that sometimes people or members of the family get so addicted to them and spend a lot more time on them. So the father is on the phone, the mother is on the phone, individual children are all on their phones or using any other form of technology. And for that matter, they're not able to relate in the natural ways that builds character, affords opportunity for education, for teaching, for learning. And so it makes modern day parenting challenging in that respect. But at the same vein, technology affords opportunity for growth, for improvement. Because of technology, we're able to do things much quicker, much faster. Because of technology, we can access more information, even the ones that may not be immediately available to us. We can access them. And because of technology, we can have ideas and information that may not readily be available to you, but through technology, you can access them from other places. So that allows parents more resources, more ability to be able to provide information, to be able to provide education, to be able to provide direction, and to help raise their children in a much better way. So it's all about discipline, it's all about understanding what that tool is for, and being able to get the family or the children be able to use that tool.
What I'm hearing from you is that you're advising that parents are able to strike a balance of a sort in the use of technology, so that you are teaching them the good side of technology, but also not losing sight of the fact that we need to present essential face-to-face interactions that foster the kind of values that we have known in the past. That's what I'm hearing.
Sure.
Okay, great. I'll come to you, Missy, because he's talked about technology, relations, and how people are, and family members are, constantly on their phones or their digital devices, creating a gap of sorts, in transmitting values to their younger ones. And one of the gaps that we all know about and actually hinted at in your speech is the whole thing when it comes to providing knowledge on productive health education. That's missing. It's not even a byproduct of the fact that we're using too much technology, but it's missing in and of itself. So what roles can parents, or how can parents in religious institutions help in providing knowledge on such sensitive issues such as adolescence and sexual health, reproductive education?
Thank you. So before I get to that, the concept of family health is so broadly encompasses just like health, both the physical but also the social and emotional well-being, right? So even the socio-economic status of the family, like I said, can affect one, their access to resources, to basic education, to even technology, and then the family unit's ability to utilize modern technology or access certain information to equip itself with reproductive health education. But it also affects the children's identity. So if you are born into a certain family that is socially perceived to be within a certain status, that can affect the child's self-worth, their social interactions, and even their self-concept. Same way if, like, talked about what children pick from home, even so if a parent is even emotionally, verbally abusing their child, telling children you will not amount to nothing, the things, the words we say to them, their emotional health is equally affected. And so when the church or the family unit is thinking about reproductive health education in itself, not just focusing on per se maybe pregnancy prevention or menstruation or puberty, but also health in its comprehensive nature, in the kind of communications that we have with children, right, with young people especially, in educating them about puberty and the changes that they go through, and in how we support families themselves to access certain resources. We have Sunday schools, we have marriage counseling, and we also have programs that we organize within our churches. How are we integrating such comprehensive education in such programs? It might be that the parents themselves, like I said, are ignorant of some of the information to be able to give to the children or the family. But the church has resources. You have doctors, you may have health personnel, you may have people from different sectors like you've had today. Either inviting them to organize programs where they are able to deliver such information to people already parenting, but also looking at if we do have a curriculum for marriage counseling, what kind of information are we giving people to prepare them for marriage and for setting up the family unit so that they are well equipped themselves to look at the kind of families they are bringing up and the kind of upbringing or socializing that then they transfer to their children.
Okay, so what you're saying is it needs to be intentional, not a haphazard opportunity comes so I talk about it kind of thing. That's what, okay. Yeah. Brother Shmotete, you've spoken extensively about building family character. Are there specific rituals, traditions, or practices that can help reinforce the desired family character?
When you talk about rituals, people will think of praying. Yes, it's part of the ritual that we can do, but ritual simply means something you do consistently. So after you've created your family character, there's a need for you to meet monthly, weekly, quarterly, whatever you choose, to deliberate on the family character and ask yourself, are we living according to the standards we have set? Are the standards meeting the needs of the world today? Because life is dynamic. Things are changing. 20 years ago, we're not having the type of mobile phones we are having. So it's our family character and the way we are practicing them, meeting with the current times. When you do such regularly, one, it fosters the bond of family. And then two, it keeps you abreast, it keeps the family pride, because each person's divine pride influences and enhances the other person's divine pride. So if there's any ritual, the ritual must be meeting consistently. You know, we've been taken over by technology and by the drive for money, but we can arrest it now. I love something to say, if you cannot beat them, go with them. Let's go with technology and let families, for example, decide that we are having the ritual of technology time. So every week there's a day for technology time, where parents sit with children and have technology time. What have you learned in technology, and so on. Because children are playing many games that parents don't know. There's even a game called Grand Theft Auto. When you kill somebody, you are awarded. So what are they learning? And at the end of the day, children learn from what they are seeing. And their information now is the games they are playing. So when you have technology time, and we all share what we have learned technology this week, we can also have lifetime, studying about life. We can have nature time. Let's go into nature and just be with nature. We put in technology, everything away. Recently, I was in Indonesia, and I learned joyfully that 1st of January, the country puts off electricity, and telephone companies shut down their telecommunication except for essential uses. People have to sit and just be with their families and connect with families without telephones and so on. I said, wow, this is a cry of my soul. If some country has seen it worthwhile, it's worth emulating as a ritual.
Thank you very much. Let me come to Mr. Simons, because Brother Ishmael focused on, in his delivery, about technology. Are there specific ways that religious institutions can help families navigate the challenges that are posed by technology while promoting peace doing that?
Great. Yeah, thank you very much. And indeed, religious institutions can really play a critical role in ensuring that parents are able to help their children use technology wisely and responsibly. And just as has happened here, religious organizations are always preaching to their people. They are always telling their people what they feel will help them become the better version of themselves. So our churches, our podiums, our programs can be tailored in providing education to parents and children in general to responsibly use technology for greater good, and also to have moments, which Brother Tete has said, where we connect naturally with each other and as a family. Yep.
Okay, Sister Josephine, I was listening to you talk about cohesion and how we need to be able to be intentional in fostering cohesion so we can avoid conflicts and disputes. And I was thinking, at home, one of the major sources of conflict is when it comes to gendered roles. Who does what, when, and how? Does one sex prevent him or her from handling specific chores at home? If yes, why? And can there be compromises?
Thank you very much. I don't think there are specific roles assigned to gender specific. Life is about exposing yourself or bringing yourself to bear to everything that you can lay hands on, gather knowledge and experience from to enhance your own life. And so if in a home you have assigned washing of dishes per se to females or the girls in the home, how would you expect your boy child who steps out of home into school, senior secondary, and possibly has not been exposed to even washing dishes, how would he, handle himself in school? Or even expect that somebody has to do all the house chores, cleaning, washing for him. So he would find himself wanting. And so I know that work or house chores must be spread across. And it enhances you, the person who goes the extra mile to learn something which has not even been assigned to you. You become a better off person, exposing yourself to learn, bringing yourself to bear to learn, and you are a more successful person when you do that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Essie, on the issue about planning, you were very emphatic on we not just bringing forth children, but planning to bring forth children, because at the end of the day, we need to take care of them. How can couples effectively reach that agreement on their family planning choices, their timing, etc., to prevent conflicts?
Right. So I think it starts before you even get to the marriage itself, and maybe either through marriage counseling or before, once you're getting to know somebody, it is important, just like I think it was Madame Josephine that mentioned that if you are going into a relationship, you are going to make each other's life better, right? So it is important to understand each other's life goals, either career aspiration, but also fertility intentions, right? So if I desire to have 1 or 2 children within a certain period, and I would want to, especially for the women who are bearing the children, and I would want to have been done with childbearing at a certain stage, it is important that the other partner who is deciding and choosing to spend the rest of their lives with me is also aware, and it is a joint decision. Family planning is not an individual decision, especially when it comes to families, right? It is important that if you are going to marry somebody and the person is desiring to bring forth 10 children, that you who also desire to have 2 or 3, you are aware of that, and where you need to reach compromise, then you decide on the compromise. And then either through marriage counselor, you can seek a fertility counseling, which is available. Then you can then decide for yourself based on 1, your health background, your socioeconomic status, to use method A or method B, because there are several family planning methods available depending on your health status and your own fertility intentions. Once you've reached a decision or a joint decision, then you can then go to a health facility and access those services.
Okay, I'm going to go off script just for a minute, because there's this notion, so God gives children. If God gives children, why are you, as a couple, limiting the number of children you want to have? Yeah, I want Brother Ishmael to tackle that for me. Can you clear my confusion for me?
Right.
God planned family planning. That is why we have only 3 days that possibly a woman could go pregnant, and the rest is for you to celebrate yourselves. And when we flow in harmony with nature, then that alone tells us that God plans family planning. We also observe that if women were doing breastfeeding, they usually will not go pregnant within the first year or 2. It means that the intention of the universe, the creative, love, intelligent universe we choose to call God, is for us to put thinking into how we bring children to the world. Because once we bring a child to the world, it's a huge responsibility that you raise the child in a way that the child life honors your God.
Thank you very much for that. I'll come to Ni Ashikote. What recommendations would you give to religious leaders on addressing the legal components that contribute to family challenges?
Well, in my presentation, I mentioned counseling sessions. And these counseling sessions are not generally to be done family exclusively. They could be at forums such as these, where the whole community can attend, and lessons are taught, lessons are learned, and I'm sure that can help in resolving those issues.
Okay, thank you. So I can now invite questions from the audience. 2 questions, really, and then we'll direct them to the panelists in question, and then we can take their final remarks. So are there any questions? 2 questions for our panelists. Anyone? Oh no, don't feel shy. Any question is welcomed. Okay, there's one here.
Thank you very much for the timely presentations. My I don't know if I'm asking two questions since you asked for two questions. My point is, if I cut across the various presentations, there's the issue of teaching some values before marriage, which the legal man indicated counseling 1 month cannot provide. And I find from the presentation that provision in the puberty rights. Then I ask the question, who stopped puberty rights? Is it not the same women advocacy that stopped puberty rights? You may correct me if I'm wrong. Who stopped puberty rights? And how have we defined our values that must be upheld? Then I conclude to say, does religion imply that we should throw away our cultural values? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there another question? While we wait for that, I will throw the questions to the panel. Sister Josephine, can you tackle his question? He says, who stopped puberty rights? He actually mentioned that women are culpable in that light. But basically, who stopped puberty rights? How have we defined our values? The fact that there's religion doesn't necessarily mean we let go of our values.
Okay. Who stopped puberty rights? We as a people growing or evolving felt puberty right was archaic and would not do well for our current generation. But we got it wrong. Our predecessors, our ancestors, our elders were wise enough to know that to know yourself is the key to success or to your individual success. If you don't know you, where are you chartering your course? And what are you doing to get there? And so we are our own devils. And if we're seeing that we went wrong, there's nothing wrong to go back. Sankofa, we say, is the key. We can go back. And in our churches, in our schools, we can reinstitute puberty rights to educate our little ones so that they get to know who they are personally. Personal hygiene as you're growing up, what your body is changing into, what you're expecting. Children today, so many things come as strange to them. And we have left them to learn from social media, which may not be exactly what is needed at the very right time or the stages in which they are. We have to nurture these children and not leave them to bear and for them to fish out information out there. So we can go back and bring puberty rights to our setups and help our children know and know better and grow better.
Okay. There's a brief, and it has to be brief, from Niash Kote.
I just want to add a little. In my candid opinion, I do not think that we have stopped puberty rights. I think it's a matter of communication. Yes, society has evolved. If we take a right such as depot, I think the issues of human rights also came up. I, in recent times, saw some pictures where, should I call them toddlers, were being taken through the depot rights. For me, it is to say it has not stopped, just that they may be targeting the wrong group of people. I believe that if we are able to communicate the essential or the essence of these rights, there are other schools that think that there may be human rights issues that may be affecting these girls who are taking through those rights can be addressed properly. I think it's a matter of communication, and I urge that the stakeholders should go back to the discussions in order for us to have it in a harmonious way. Thank you.
Okay, let's take a submission on that from Brother Ishmael Tete.
The problems we have in legally, like you said, is because it's now being reduced to children, just because when people get to teenage adolescence, they feel shy to participate, and then they get into this modern human rights issue. I don't have to do this, I don't have to do that. So the community is like, okay, now let's not throw the culture away. Let's now practice it with children who may not have all of these personal identity crises in performing it. So society is compelling the culture to change that way. And I will support culture not to adhere to society's pressure, but to maintain it. But you see, the question asked is that who is instituting those values? Values are dynamic. So every age, values may change. So that if we still maintain that we'll do the puberty rites, the rituals can change. The essence will remain the same. I see two fundamental aims for puberty rites. One, so that you don't have sex before you are married. You must understand what sex and these responsibilities are all about before you get married. And then two, to understand how to raise a family. Now, how to raise a family, like we are sharing now, has so many dynamics. Today's modern puberty rites may include teaching the youth technology, how to use technology smartly. Smartly means applying your smartness to the technology, not technology making you smart. So if we now come to modern puberty rites, same rituals, but the ingredients may change so that the essence is preserved. The essence is don't have sex before marriage, to wait and get some education on relationship before you start engaging in it. These are primary values that if we will adhere to, there will be peace and cohesion in the family. And world peace is possible then.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for our panelists. Thank you so much. They've applied themselves and we are grateful for their insights. At this point, I'd like to ask Brother Ishmael Tete to give us his closing remarks as we wrap up today's Planetary Liberation Day. Please clap for him as he comes.
So let me thank everybody for being here. And I just have two observations. When I look in the room, I'm wondering, where is the world with us? However, like the story of Gideon in the Bible, the capability may look very tiny and insignificant, but it is what life wants to use to advance this to the world. Some of us here come from organizations. Church Universal Triumphant, you are here. CSA has just left, but I know he will get the message. We have our brothers from Latter-day Saints with us. We have people from various organizations, the Cross and the Star, and many others here from various groups. In what ways do we collaborate and develop this teaching into a manuscript that may be presented to the United Nations to let the world know that we're all talking about peace, and peace treaties signed by angry and fear-filled people is nothing but the manufacturing of time bomb. It will eventually explode. Those who are talking the peace are filled with anger, hate, and fear because they don't have understanding of these forces within them and how to use them. So then there's need for us to collaborate, bring efforts together. I find it very strange that when it comes to programs that will engender peace, harmony, and development, society seems to be not interested. Very, very strange. And even peace organizations have problems coming together to come up with formulas that will be global formulas for world peace. What do we need for peace? We need vision for peace. So that's why I asked the 3 questions for creating the family character. If we will have global vision for world peace, what does world peace look like? Bible says, for lack of vision, we are suffering. my people, Hosea 4:6 says that for lack of knowledge, my people perish. And where you do not have vision, then you are scattered. We need to have vision for world peace. What does it look like? What would it look like when we are having a world in which everybody is a catalyst that is supporting one another to bring out the best out of one another? I'm passionate about making the good I see in you expand. And you are passionate about digging the good out of me to expand. Would it be a beautiful world? If we can sit and just design what a world that looks like peaceful world will sound like, taste like, look like, then it will enroll all of us to look at, wow, we can make it happen. If we can see it, we can make it happen. If we can imagine it, we can make it happen. Is it true? Yes. If we can only imagine it. But there's no world vision that is enrolling all of us to feel like, wow, I want to be part of this. In Ethereum Mission, we always set our global vision. And if Ethereans are here, please support me, sound our global vision. Our vision is that of a unified world in which everyone is a catalyst that is activating and promoting the innate good in one another. Can we do it again? Is that of a unified world in which everyone is a catalyst that is activating and promoting the innate good in one another. A unified world in which everyone is a catalyst. Unified world means I'm maintaining myself. Catalyst means I'm causing change, but I'm not changed. I'm maintaining my identity. A unified world in which everyone is a catalyst that is activating and promoting the innate good in one another. I'm passionate about you. My goal is to activate the innate good in you, promoting it. That's my passion. It will create a world like baby laughter in rippling golden droplets of sunlight liquid. I don't know words to describe it. It will be a beautiful world, isn't it? If we have such global vision, and this can be improved. A unified world. Unified world means I'm maintaining my identity and I'm complementing you. I'm not changing you, you are not changing me. Whatever I'm doing is a complement to what you are. In God's flower garden, there must be many colors. That's why in the world we have various races, creeds, cultures. All are good. We need to ask, in what way does one complement the other? But what we are lacking is collaboration. When we talk of collaboration, there are organizations that are rich with money. There are philanthropists who have lots of money. They want to bring peace to the world. They want to cause some change. But no one is teaching them or telling them that what they need is essential education of who and what we are, how we operate. When I know how I operate, I will know how to cooperate with you. Then there is harmony. So, you see, what we need is so simple. Oh, Bible says that God created us simple, but we have made everything complicated. There's also the need, right from childhood, for us to teach people to appreciate coming to programs like this, appreciate essential education. To me, one of the most powerful subjects we all need to learn is psychology. But we go through school, and if you have to go to a psychologist, people think you are mad. But psychology, life is psychology. Psychology means living from pure knowledge of your thinking, feeling, and sensorial perceptions. You know why you think what you think. You know why you feel the way you feel. You know how people's feelings affect you. You know how you can live your life so that somebody's feeling does not affect you. Sometimes the anger you met on your wife, your husband, your subordinates, your boss, they are not coming from you. They're coming from somebody, how somebody told you the story. Every story you hear from somebody is coming from the person's own emotions, the person's own feelings. Are you hearing the story, or you are hearing the story plus somebody's feelings? And the person's feeling can influence your feeling. Who is teaching us this? This is where at Ethereum Mission, we have made it our focus to research into this, come up with all of the books needed. From all we have learned from these great teachers here, it tells us that family character requires various pieces of information or knowledge. So when you are doing it, you are legally upright. When you are doing it, you know that you are managing your family, so you don't have children who are not taken care of. You know that the knowledge is making you know who and what you are, how you operate in your senses. I don't know whether you even understand what we talk about the senses, but the senses alone is a very huge subject, and very few are giving attention to it. Let me give you one simple example. If you were to buy your wife a brand new Mercedes-Benz, she'll be grateful and thank you. 3 weeks later, she will ask you, darling, do you love me? What many do not know is that each person operates from one or two dominant senses. So that if her dominant sense is hearing, she has seen the Mercedes-Benz, she's happy, but until you add, I love you, until she hears it, she is not satisfied. And if I go into that alone, it's a whole spectrum of teaching. So if we don't know our senses, then we have been, all the conversations and talks about morality are useless until we know how we operate through our senses. Because it's what you see, smell, taste, touch, or hear that offends you. Second speaker touched it, but it's a deep subject. So we need to encourage ourselves that this is a subject we need to learn ourselves. All we need is to know how we operate so that we can cooperate with ourselves. Because most times you are scattered because the thoughts you are having are not yours. The feelings are not yours. What you see is not what you see. Seeing can even be deceptive. Because when you stand on the story building and you see a pool of water down there and you jump into it, you will hit hard ground. Because visual induction can make you see a mirage. Mirage will look like a pool of water, but it's a hard ground. These and many things have been covered by these great teachers here. Technology is telling us that we need a new type of parenting. And parents have little or no knowledge about how to use WhatsApp. Much more to know how to use TikTok. Much more to use Snapchat. I'm saying this because at least I've made the effort to be with younger ones and understand something. So when somebody calls you, hey, Akwesi, Bajina, catch me, we must stop that. Akwesi is your 6-year-old child. Akwesi comes, gets it for you, knows your password. Whilst you are sleeping, Akwesi is watching games on your phone. And some of the games are pornography. Fighting, killing. So you are actually promoting fighting, killing in your family. You see, we need education. And all I can say is, thank you who are here. Please, let's come together. Let's find a way. We're going to compile all of these teachings on our website. So by the close of Monday, it will be on our website. And I encourage all of you to please tell your families, friends, your churches, organizations, and to bring all of their resources, merge for us to promote this to the world. Thank you for coming, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. A round of applause. Standing ovation, I can see that. Thank you, Dr. Ishmael Tete, for those thoughtful closing remarks. And we're almost done. Let me call Michael Dodu to give us a vote of thanks. Michael, please welcome with a round of applause.
God bless you. It's not easy standing here. I believe you know it's not easy standing here. So let's give it up to everyone that has come to stand here to talk to us. And you see, if you are standing here and there is no one to talk to, it's useless, isn't it? So give a clap offering to yourselves for coming. On this note, God, the life that predestined today, that you and I will be here, we acknowledge. And to our panelists, it's been a wonderful day. Let's give it up to our panelists. And to all hearing gathered, our affiliates, home and abroad, Conscious Humanity says it appreciates you for coming when peace called. Oh, I thought you would clap. And we hope that peace will tabernacle in all your circumstances and peace will lead in all your endeavors. Peace.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you. So Abigail has a couple of announcements for us, brief ones for that matter. Let's hear from her. Abigail.
God bless you. So thank you once again for joining. So we just have one announcement. So we mentioned that we will be having a free health screening. We are doing that right outside at the hospital complex. So we are doing hepatitis B and C, BP, we are checking our sugar levels, and for the women and men as well, we are also doing the breast screening. So right afterwards, please walk towards the hospital complex. Also, after the entire service, please just remain seated. We have some refreshments for you, so just sit down. Once you receive your pack, then you can step out. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Are you not happy about item 13? Hey, clap. Me, I'm happy. Oh. Clap for item 13. Thank you. Our closing prayer will be delivered by Clement Cobbler. Clement, clap for him as he comes, please. He has been all around ensuring that everything is going on well, and he wants to close us accordingly.
Thank you. Shall we pray? There is an ever-fulfilling power that is running in and through this life. It is this very power that causes the acorn to rise into its fulfilled state and vision of the mighty oak tree. We acknowledge that this power has fully expressed in this very gathering and has sown itself as the peace that we seek in our very souls. It is with this that we recognize that it is fulfilling its vision of world peace through us. And we step out into the world knowing that the mighty trees of peace are rising as our very lives, now and forever. And so it is. Amen and amen.
Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for yourselves and for everybody. You've been an engaging audience. I've totally loved being here with you. Thank you so much. And as we part ways, let's remember that peace is not merely an ideal. It is an achievable reality that is within our grasp. I have no doubt that the discussions and ideas and connections we've exchanged here will form and help us to ripple outward, influencing positive change in the world. So thank you for being part of this remarkable journey towards a more peaceful, compassionate, and united planet. And until we meet again, let's be the peace we wish to see, one family, one community, one world at a time. Thank you so much. My name is Regina Bolebote. I've been an MC for today's event, and I love all of you. God bless you.